What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? So we're almost at the end of the season, so in this video I wanted to go over my top breakout players for 2022. Let's go talk about it. Starting off my list at number 10, I have Taylor Ward. Remember when this guy was just setting the world on fire in the beginning of the season, but then he ran into some injuries. You had the hamstring, you had the shoulder. Taylor Ward definitely did not have some good luck with the health this year, but in the end ended up playing 127 games and had a very good season overall, hitting 274 with a 358 on base, a 458 slugging, a 132 WRC plus, 21 homers, adding in 60 RBIs as well. Taylor Ward, man, he was so good in the beginning of the year. And actually, if you go from April to May, he was 8th overall when it came to wins above replacement. I mean, he was just absolutely on fire. Hopefully for next year, Taylor Ward can have a full season of good health. I mean, listen, the Angels, another disappointing season, but if you got Mike Trout, you got Shohei Ohtani, a full season out of Taylor Ward, maybe Anthony Rendon comes back, you could have an extremely good lineup there in LA. They just need some pitching, but Taylor Ward, definitely a breakout player. I mean, considering here, he's been in the minors since 2015 and just really making an impact this year. I mean, he came up a little bit last year, but, you know, he did a little bit, but this year, definitely a breakout season for Taylor Ward. At number 9, I have Kyle Wright. It was only a matter of time before Kyle Wright was able to make a breakout list, and here he is, Kyle Wright, a very solid season overall. I mean, considering some of the numbers this guy was putting up earlier on in his career, I mean, look at 2019. He had an 8.69 ERA over 7 games. In 2020, over 8 starts, an ERA over 5, a FIP at almost 6. Dreadful numbers, but this year, he was able to put it together. If you take a look at Kyle Wright here, looking at the splits, he was very good that first month, over 12 strikeouts per 9, almost 13 strikeouts per 9, keeping the walks down. Very solid numbers. He hasn't been nearly as effective as he was that first month, but he's been really solid in every other month here. And if you take a look here at the Atlanta Braves, 6 overall in starting pitching this year, a very good starting rotation. Spencer Strider has been a huge part of it, and hopefully he is back in time for the playoffs out with a strained oblique. But Kyle Wright has definitely stepped it up in a big way this year for the Atlanta Braves. You gotta love what he has been able to contribute to this staff. At number 8, I have TRISTON McKenzie. Speaking of guys that have stepped up in the starting rotation, TRISTON McKenzie has stepped up in a big way for the American League Central champion Cleveland Guardians. My goodness, he has been a huge reason for their success this year. Look at the numbers overall. 28 starts, 29 games overall, a 3.04 ERA, a 3.72 FIP, right around 9 strikeouts per 9, 2 walks per 9, right around a home run per 9. Very, very solid numbers. Now, Shane Bieber, definitely the top dog in the rotation, but they needed someone to step up in this rotation. I know you got a couple other guys there. You know, you got Savali, you got Cal Quantrill, but TRISTON McKenzie, he has been a really solid number 2 for the Cleveland Guardians. Absolutely a breakout year. Had some success last year, but the numbers really were underwhelming overall. But this year, he has figured it out. He's giving a ton of innings overall. I love when a guy is just throwing a lot of innings, especially in today's game where guys' starts are, you know, pretty limited these days. But TRISTON McKenzie throwing a ton of innings, you gotta love it, stepping up for the Guardians. Absolutely a breakout performer this year. Coming in at number 7, I have Yandy Diaz. What a great season for Yandy Diaz, and at a great time too when the Rays have had a lot of injuries this year. He has stepped up in a big way, especially out of the leadoff spot. Why is he such a good leadoff option this year for the Rays? Well, he gets on base. Look at these numbers, hitting 292 with a 398 on base. Overall in the major leagues, that ranks 6th, only behind Judge, Soto, Alvarez, Freeman, and Goldschmidt. Yandy Diaz, man, this guy is just getting on base for them. He's having a great year. He doesn't hit for a lot of power, but that's not his game. He has really stepped up in a big way for the Rays. They've really needed it this year. You know, you've had guys like Franco go down this year, Brandon Lau as well. A huge breakout season for Yandy Diaz. At number 6, I have Alejandro Kirk. Man, oh man, what a good season for Alejandro Kirk, especially with Marcus Semien departing in the offseason, going to the Rangers. They really needed a bat to step up for them this year, and Alejandro Kirk has done that in every way possible, hitting 292 with a 377 on base, a pretty decent 425 slugging, a 133 WRC plus, 14 homers, 62 RBIs. But it's not just the offense that he's bringing to the table. He's bringing really good defense as well, and overall, Alejandro Kirk is the 7th ranked catcher in Major League Baseball this year. A big breakout season for Alejandro Kirk. The Blue Jays, they're starting to hit their stride at the right time with the playoffs just around the corner. He's going to be a big bat for them in the postseason. Definitely a breakout year for Alejandro Kirk. At number 5, I have Nico Hoerner. Over the last couple of years, I've been wondering, is Nico Hoerner going to amount to anything? When he first came up to the major leagues, there was a lot of hype around him, but just hadn't really seen all that much from Nico Hoerner. And for good reason. They've been trying him out at other positions. They were playing him in the outfield, but he has finally found his home at shortstop, playing there the majority of the time this year, one game at third base. But an all-around really good season for Nico Hoerner, finally breaking out. If you take a look at the numbers, hitting .287 with a .333 on base, a .414 slugging, 9 home runs. And now it's only 9 home runs, and not really that much, but way better than he's been doing for the last couple of years. He had no home runs over the last 2 seasons, but this year he has finally put it all together. Also has 19 stolen bases as well. But where he is really excelling is on the defensive side of the ball. Taking a look at Nico Hoerner, he ranks 4th overall among all shortstops. An extremely good season for Nico Hoerner, a breakout season for Nico Hoerner. At number 4, I have Dalton Varsho. I like me some Dalton Varsho, and this year he has definitely broken out, and he's had himself quietly a really solid year. Take a look at the numbers. A .240 batting average, not amazing by any means. A .307 on base, definitely could be better. But what I'm looking at with Dalton Varsho, I'm looking at the .456 slugging, which is pretty solid, and 27 home runs, has 73 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. But where Dalton Varsho has really excelled, not just with the power, but defensively, this guy has been fantastic, and not just at one position. He's played multiple positions. He's played 71 games in right field, 48 games in center field, 31 games at catcher. The fact that he can play both catcher and center field along with right field, which can be also a demanding position, that is really solid if you ask me. Dalton Varsho, I think, is one of the more underrated players in the game. And taking a look at where he ranks among all outfielders with defensive runs saved, 19 defensive runs saved, that ranks him 3rd overall, actually tied for 2nd with Michael Taylor. Dalton Varsho, I think he needs to get a little more love. I'm excited about the Diamondbacks next year. A lot of young, exciting players on this team, and I think Dalton Varsho is going to be a big part of this team moving forward. At number 3, I have Tony Gonsolin. Let's head back to the pitching side of things. Tony Gonsolin, man, has been really good for the Dodgers this year. And just like with Yandy Diaz with the Rays stepping up when guys are going down, the Dodgers, they've had guys go down too. I mean, we didn't even have Trevor Bauer at all this year. Clayton Kershaw, he's had his bumps and bruises like he always does. Walker Buehler out since June. You've had Max Scherzer not coming back to the Dodgers this year. They needed Tony Gonsolin to really step up this year, and he did in a big way. Look at these numbers. 23 starts, a 2.10 ERA, 3.34 FIP. Now, he has put up these kind of numbers before. If you go back to 2020, over 9 games, 8 starts, had very solid numbers here as well. But this year, he's able to do it over a full season and stepping up for the Dodgers when they really needed him. Out with a shoulder issue, or a forearm issue right now, but he's going to be making a rehab start, and he should be back for the postseason. They're going to need him, especially with a very competitive National League. But Tony Gonsolin, in my opinion, yeah, he put up good numbers in 2020, but this was definitely a breakout year for him. At number 2, I have Zach Gallen. It is about time that Zach Gallen has broken out. My goodness, I love me some Zach Gallen. He has had a fantastic season. While the Arizona Diamondbacks, not a great season overall, he has definitely been their biggest bright spot. Taking a look here, 29 starts, 172 innings, a 2.46 ERA, a 2.89 FIP, 9.5 strikeouts per 9, right around 2 walks per 9, right around a half a home run per 9. These are really good numbers. Taking a look at the leaderboards on Fangraphs, overall, Zach Gallen is 9th overall in Fangraph WAR among all pitchers in Major League Baseball. And don't forget about that streak that he had going on. My goodness, setting the record in Diamondbacks history for the most scoreless innings consecutively. Overall, he finished with 44 1/3 innings. That was a record in Diamondbacks history, passing Brandon Webb. Zach Gallen, man, he's always been one of my favorites, and I've been just waiting for him to just bust out here. And here he is, finally having this good season. I'm excited about the Diamondbacks next year. If Zach Gallen has really found his way, if he's found his stride, if they can add some more pitching here, maybe a couple of pieces for the lineup, I really like the Diamondbacks' chances for next year, and Zach Gallen is a big part of that. But at number 1, I have Andres Gimenez. This guy has been one of the more underrated players this year. I don't think people realize how good of a season this guy has been having. I mean, Andrés Giménez, they just won the American League Central. He has been a huge reason for that. Up the middle, playing second base, playing a very good second base overall. But he's not just doing it on the defensive side like most people know him for. He's doing it offensively as well. This guy's having an extremely good all-around season. Look at the numbers. Hitting .305 with a .377 on base, a solid .484 slugging, a .146 WRC+, 17 homers, 68 RBIs. He has 19 stolen bases. Like I said, he's playing great defense. Looking at the leaderboards here, Andrés Giménez is right near the top, 12th overall in Fangraph WAR. He's up there with some of the better players in the game. I mean, my goodness, I don't hear anything about Andrés Giménez. What a breakout year for him. He has been extremely good. I mean, if you go back to last year, he was really scuffling at the plate. Overall, he played in 68 games, hitting .218 with a .282 on base. I mean, those are no bueno kind of numbers. When he was with the Mets, everyone was like, oh, the glove, the glove, the glove. He is going to be really good defensively. You know, maybe not so much with the bat. He did show some signs in 2020, had a few homers, had some offensive numbers overall. But this year has turned into one of the best overall players in the game. In my opinion, a huge breakout season, and in my opinion, the best breakout player of 2022. So that's my list. Tell me what you think down below. Did I miss any players? Would you move any players higher or lower on this list? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.